Carcos, tell me why this case was filed.
This is failure to pay rent. Rent is $13.50 a month. They owe January through the prorated of April for a total of $4,365 in back rent through today. A 30-day notice to vacate was left inside of the unit on January 5th. There's no government subsidy, and they have been previously late before. And we're seeking back rent, court cost, and possession.
All right. Any subsidy?
No, Your Honor.
And it was 30 days. Is that because it's a CARES property?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Ms. Davis. Thank you for being here. And for Mr. Davis as well. Thank you for both being here. Ms. Carcos is here. She represents the landlord, El Prado, and that beautiful long title. She works for a group called Nationwide, though, but in addition to her, Ms. Herrera is here from the landlord's agent. They said that, or Ms. Carcos rather told me the case is one about finances, Ms. Davis. So my first question is the monthly rent $1,350?
Correct.
Okay. And then Ms. Carcos said that rent remains unpaid for January, February, March, and now April. Is that correct as well?
I'm not sure about January. I know February and March, but no, I think we made that payment for January, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, but February, March, and April, those haven't been.
Yes.
All right.
And if I might say something on my behalf, if it's
Absolutely.
okay.
Just go ahead.
The office manager, Miss Lucy, that's present here, has recently took over that position that she has. The lady prior to her, one of the managers there was overpayments. Me and her had a verbal agreement. I went to her in February with a money order, and she told me just hang on to it. Just hang on to it, and that I could try to get rental assistance through one of the agencies that help out tenants that's late. She said, in order to do that, I have to file eviction. So this is like, we went through this whole verbal thing. So she said, in order to file eviction, just wait, and then you can get assistance with your rent that way, but you have to have an eviction notice. So she stated that she was going to file it, I think she said February 17th. And so this whole time it's been a waiting process. Also, one of the other workers, Crystal Ramirez, as I think, I might be wrong on her last name. She's been helping assist me with sending my application to various agencies to try to get assistance. Unfortunately, I just learned that one of the agencies, funding ran out like the 1st of March. They cut it off. So this whole time she's been sending my application saying, wait to hear from them. She was unaware that they funding was closed. They closed their whole portal. So it's like, I feel like I'm just kind of in limbo here because I took her advice. We had an oral agreement going on. She left. She's no longer here. I didn't get the funding or the help or the assistance from the agency because they don't have any funding, And so it's like, okay, I understand Miss Lucy's position, but at the same time, I didn't know Amy was going to quit. Understand? I did not. I know I'm responsible for my rent, but Amy and some of the other managers knew my situation. I always pay my rent at the end of the month, only because I had to resign from my job.
Ms. Davis.
I'm sorry.
I appreciate all that, but I got to move along here. Let me show you the ledger because they show the ledger as having a balance since October. So I'm going to share my screen, okay?
Okay.
They sent me 2 pages of your full ledger. So this is it. This is page 1, this is page 2. Right here it is. And
Let me look.
Beginning in November of 2024, right? You come on down and then you have you're good. And then where the problem begins for this lawsuit is here in 2025. And the last time I show that you did not owe them any money is right here. I know it's a little bit hard, but right here on October 1st, if you come across, you'll see that you actually had a balance. They had a credit for you of 8 cents. And then October charges alive. So then you get charged for October, late fee, sewer, rent, and then it continues to accrue thereafter. And so you made a payment towards it, but you never actually zeroed out again. And the last time I see payments getting made, there's a payment in December. You did pay in December, but because you still owed rent from October and the late fees, it was applied toward that. That's why there's still a balance outstanding. And then it comes through when you get it again in January. And then that's the last time I see any payments being made. And then those
So when was the last payment made again?
the last three payments that your ledger shows are that you paid 3 separate times $500 in January on the 7th. 3 different check scans for $500. One was 501, 500, and 500, and that brought your outstanding balance down at that point to 1534.
And that was for the month of.
So that was in January is the last time I see you making it per the ledger they're giving me, right? And then February came and then they gave notice and they filed.
So that payment in January, was that for the month of January?
I don't know what it was for, but because the lease, they're allowed to put the money you give them toward any money outstanding. You still owed money all the way back from October. See, your balance has been ongoing since then. And
that can't be that. I don't understand. I pay my rent every month, but towards the end of the month.
Exactly, Ms. Davis, because you pay toward the end of the month, you owe all those late fees, but you're not paying the late fees.
Yeah, it's always $1,500. I understand.
Contact an attorney, because right now the balance they show is $3,000. That is not what she's seeking. Today she's seeking $4,365. Because the balance they showed in February, you still owe $3,000, and then since then, March and April have been due.
And that's why I'm not understanding. Okay, and
legal aid, Ms. Davis, I'm not able to advise you. I can only show you the information I have. But what is not in dispute is that you have not been able to make payment for March and April.
And I have a heart condition, ma'am. That's why I resigned. Okay. I have heart failure. Everybody have situations that arise. I'm not trying to get no sympathy, but like I say, Amy knew all of this and they was working with me. I was in the process of getting my Social Security, which was denied. And now I'm going through Aid to get assistance for appeal. Some people just fall on their luck. It's not like I'm a bad person. I do want to stay.
Ms. Davis.
I do want to stay here.
You're a bad person, Ms. Davis. Today, our judgment is solely because you don't have enough money.
I got $1,000 of it, and I can have 2,300.
You can have a lot of money, Ms. Davis.
Excuse me,
Ms. Davis. I want to give you the judgment. Okay. Here is the outcome of the hearing today. Today, the judgment is for the plaintiff. It is $4,365. That is all of January, all of February, all of March, and a proration for 7 days of April. That does not include late fees, utility bills, or any other amount of money that may be owed under the lease. That is pure rent. All right. Ms. Davis, you have, and Mr. Davis and Mr. Davis, all three of you have 5 days beginning tomorrow to appeal that decision. Either one of you can appeal that decision. If none of you take any action on day 6, the judgment becomes final and the landlord can get a writ of possession and remove you, Mr. Davis, and all of your possessions. In the next 5 days, you absolutely can seek assistance. You can contact any of the legal aid representatives that you've already reached out to, any legal aid that you find, you can contact them. And definitely tell them, and this is important, that you have been evicted. Prior to today, you were facing eviction, but today it is official. It is done. If you don't get
why is it official? Why is it done?
Because we just had the hearing and I'm ruling in favor of the plaintiff. You have not paid rent.
So okay, but I just told you I want to stay in the unit.
And the landlord doesn't have to let you because you have not paid rent. That's what I'm saying.
I understand that, Judge. Okay. I understand that. So you have a little sympathy here. I have a lot of sympathy. I told you I have $2,300. I have $2,300. I will talk to her, but don't be heartless. Really, I'm gonna give it to the universe. Okay, Ms. Davis. Because you people don't have no empathy for folks. Are we done here?
Yes, we are, Ms. Davis.
Are we done, Judge?
Everyone is excused. Thank you very much. Appeal bond
to the universe.
Thank you, Judge.
All right.